he can't get that angle, okay? As long as my shin points on his calf muscle. The second my shin goes from the calf to the hamstring, now he can bend around my lower leg and get that hook. Okay? So, we're here. I push the hook out, straighten my leg and pointing to the outside. Here. The last thing I'm going to do is get this foot off my hip and jump over that. So I'm going to grab the foot, and rather than just pushing it down from here, let's rotate. Rather than just pushing it down, which is hard, it's stepping and pushing into me, I take a back step to break the connection of his foot to my thigh. Just a small one, just a baby back step. Now with his foot unsupported, it's very easy for me to push the foot to his butt and jump over it. Now my right hand's going to come up here, staying really tight to my knee, and I make a grip on the lapel. And now I'm going to shift everything to this side of the body. My right leg steps across, and we're right back into our same passing position, the split squat. Now from here I control the elbow, pull the elbow out of position, control the hips, and then eventually make my way up to the head and shoulders. I quickly want to go back to collar cuff bicep just to illustrate something. Collar cuff bicep. From here, again, I don't want him controlling my head, but I can't do anything about it. My hands are caught. He's got a sleeve grip here. He's got this hand, this foot in the bicep. I go to break his collar grip, and I can't. We almost always want to break the collar grip as soon as possible. We never want to let him control our head. But from collar cuff bicep, we can't break it. But anytime, let's say a De La Diva, and he's got either a straight or a cross collar, my hands are free. So because my hands are free, this is the first thing I'm going to deal with. I never want to let this hand control my head. So I'm going to go here and break that. Get your head free. With my head free, I can now stand in a neutral, comfortable stance. If he has this collar grip, and I go to take a neutral, comfortable stance, I can't even get comfortable. Now from this position, the hand can start pulling my head around, getting all sorts of out of balance. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get control of my head back. Here, I'm going to push his hand away as I pull my collar away from the hand. Here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take care of the De La Diva hook. Hand below the knee. We push down as I straighten my leg, and then I turn my knee and shin to the outside. So head first, De La Diva second. Lastly, we're going to deal with this foot in the hip. I grab it, I step back, I jump, and we're here. Now I'm going to connect my hand to the lapel. Everything comes across, and now we're right here back in our split squat position, ready to complete the pass. So that's a standard form of De La Diva, where our opponent has a wrist deep grip on the ankle. But there's another grip that your opponents will start using with De La Diva, and this one gets a little dicier, a little trickier. This is where they don't grab the ankle, they grab the pant cuff. This can be difficult too. Very, very difficult. Let's go on this side. So Ann puts in the same De La Diva, head that way. This time, he grabs my pant cuff. So now the problem is, even if I were to break, when I try to go across, he's got this pant cuff. I try to split squat. I can't knee cut. This grip is going to kill any pass to this side. I can go Toriano, I can take both legs to this side. And I want to go past. Now, if he was just sitting here doing nothing, yes, I could get down and get something. But like, I still can't move my leg or use my leg really. I can't go to mount, I can't progress at all with this grip. This grip is hell to break. You're not going to break this grip. You're not just going to kick free. Okay? You have to learn to negate the grip. You have to learn to move in a way that makes this grip useless. The benefit of this grip is it will stop me entirely from passing to this side. So when he gets this grip, I need to, as much as possible, learn to pass to the side of the grip. Okay? We got a couple ways we can do this. We've got Toriando, and we've got a stack passing. So from here, let's take this. First things first, let's free our head. Okay? Now I'm going to break this grip, jump over the foot like we did before. Now, rather than going into the split squat, I'm just gonna drop, come underneath, and take the leg up to my shoulder. Now from here I drive in, and we have a pass to that side. So that's one good way of dealing with that annoying handcuff grip. One more time. Handcuff with daily Diva. I know I can't pass to that side because he's got this handcuff. There's no more passes to this side. When I see this, I'm thinking passing this way to the side of the handcuff. So from here, first thing I want to do is I want to free my head. Now I want to do the daily Diva hook and jump over this foot. But now here it's a little different because he's got the handcuff. So now from here, my hand goes between my leg and his leg, and I drop, and I hike this up to my shoulder. Now from here, we drive in, and we get our pass on that side. We'll go over the details of the stack pass in coming weeks. For now, just be happy with that. Let's look at another option. He's got the handcuff. All right, so we're here again. Another option I have is to take grips here right at the end of the pant. Okay, first thing I'm doing, again, free the head. Okay, sorry, I almost forgot that. Never want to let him control the head. So from here, he's got the grip. First things first, free the head. You may have to free it multiple times. Like I may do that, I may go down here, he gets it again. I may have to free it again. I may have to break it and then play defense. So from here, I may have to break it. He goes to get it again. I may have to kind of play defense here for a second. This is all perfectly normal. These are all normal things in the exchange of guard passing. Now from here, my head goes up so he can't reach my collar, and I take grips on the cuff of the pants. Now from here, I'm going to push in. My knee's going to drive in, my hands are going to drive in, and everything goes like this. Now, in one motion, everything keeps pushing in. My body goes back, my knee straightens, my foot doesn't move. It can't move. I'm not trying to kick my foot back. If he's pulling this grip, I'm not going to get anywhere with it. So if my foot doesn't move, my knee moves. Everything pressures in, my knee moves back, and I pass the feet, the legs, to this side of my body. Now I come in, the knee to the pocket of the hip, and I take my pass. Now this pass usually ends up being an easier finish because he's not framing. Why isn't he framing? Because his hand was down here on the gi pants. Okay, if he's smart, he's going to let go of the gi pants and come up and start framing. And if he does that in time, well then we just deal with the frames the same way we did before. Inside position, take the frames out and away, or inside position this way, or we go inside position this way, and then turn and tackle the hips. Once again, taking my shoulder in down to the pocket of the hips. I'm hoping you guys are seeing that there's a lot of commonalities. There's a lot of common themes and a lot of common concepts that are on display here. Getting inside the frames, getting into the pocket of the hip, things like these, okay? So even if you don't remember the small little nitty-gritty details, hopefully you guys remember some of these general concepts of, okay, I want to get to the pocket of the hip. I want to get inside the frames and things like this, okay? So we learned daily Diva, where they just grab the ankle, and we looked at daily Diva where they have a pant cuff grip, and we saw we can use either the stack pass, getting the leg up on the shoulder, or a toriando by pressuring and going back and releasing the pressure. Okay? Now we're going to move on to reverse daily Diva. And head toward the camera. Daily Diva is when I have my leg in a straight hamstring position, and he locks. His leg goes from the outside, and he makes a hook here on the inside. In reverse daily Diva, my leg is in the cross hamstring. His leg goes from the inside, and it makes a hook on the outside. Okay, so once again, daily Diva, from the outside, hooks on the inside. Reverse daily Diva is in the other hamstring, from the inside, hooks on the outside. Okay? Oftentimes, your opponents will have a foot in the hip as well to help maintain distance, so I can't crush them. First thing I want to do is I want to get this foot out of the hip. I can use my hands, I can use my elbow, just get that thing out, okay? Now, coming in, I want to get inside the knee. This reverse daily Diva hook could be a pain, because now when I go to hit my knee cut, I can't get my knee to the floor, I can't sit on my heel, this leg is completely in my way. So just like we did with the daily Diva hook, the reverse daily Diva is very similar. Let's rotate. Again, I can't just knee cut through this because he's sitting on this leg. I go to knee cut through and drive, that leg's tangled. Just like we did with De La Riva, my hand goes to the leg, just below the knee. I straighten my leg and I push this knee down, and now I'm going to sit back on my heel. And I'm going to close the space between my butt and my heel. Now when he goes to put that same reverse De La Riva hook in, the space is gone, and now I can go to start passing. Let's look at that one more time. I step in, I go for like a knee cut pass, but he quickly puts in a reverse De La Riva to defend. First thing, I want to get this foot off my hip. I can use my elbow, or I can use my hand here. I can use 2-on-1, whatever. Get that foot out. Come in, get inside the knee, and start to get tight to the pocket of the hip here. Now I'm going to start coming down to my knee cut, but I can't come down because of this reverse De La Riva hook. Ant can give one good extension of this leg up in this direction and get me out of balance. Now you can come up on single legs, and things are going to start getting really bad, okay? So, once again, take care of that foot, inside position, and I'm here. He's got this hook. Again, just like we did from the De La Riva side. Hand below the knee, I straighten my leg, I push the hook out, and now I can squat back down. And now from here, he tries to put that De La Riva hook back in, it's not there. And we're right back in ours. Everybody's favorite passing position, the split squat. Now from here, control the pockets of the hip, come through, control the hips. He's gonna frame, I control the elbow to stop his elbow escape. As I come through, and now I climb to the head and shoulders. And that's how we deal with the reverse De La Riva. There is another option for reverse De La Riva, a little more complicated. I'm here. As rather than posting with my foot and wedging and placing with my hand, as I post with my arm and use that to come in and deal with the reverse De La Riva as well. Okay? So we're here. Rather than using my leg for base and my arm to deal with the reverse De La Riva, I use my arm for base and I use my knee and my leg to deal with the reverse De La Riva. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knee right here, pushing down. Now I can pummel my left butterfly hook back in, and we're back into one of our favorite passing positions. We saw this last week when we were looking at opening the closed guard. Now I come through, rotate. From here. And now I take either the foot to the pocket of the hip, the knee to the pocket of the hip, or I can back step and take my arm to the pocket of the hip. Again, these are all reviewed from last week's classes. Hopefully some of this is familiar to you. All right, we've gone over a lot of good information so far. Upper body entanglements. We went through all the major upper body entanglements: spider guard, spider lasso, and collar cuff bicep. Right now you may want to pause the video and just give yourself some time to think and try to remember how do you deal with those guards. Then we went into the lower body entanglements. We looked at De La Riva and we looked at reverse De La Riva. Now both of these entanglements are predicated on the idea that I have one of my legs inside of his legs. Head toward the camera. De La Riva and reverse De La Riva are predicated on the fact that I have some inside position. There's other forms of entanglements we have to learn to deal with, and that's where my opponent gets all the inside position, where he gets both his feet inside, and now we can go into like Ashigarami, for instance. So now we need to learn to deal with Ashigarami and show X. We're also going to learn to deal with X guard. Or go back to Ashi. So from Ashigarami, he's tangled me up. First things first, I can't get knocked backwards. If I'm standing up straight and he turns his knees to the outside, he's going to knock me down. So first things first, my head goes forward and I bend forward the hips. Now when he goes to knock me backwards, I can stand my feet. This foot and the hip is holding the Ashigarami together. This is what holds the Ashigarami. If I take this foot out of the hip, the Ashigarami is not really in place. Keep it like that, keep the knees up. Here. The Ashigarami is not really in place anymore. So that's going to be our first step. Let's just take that foot out of the hip. Head forward, balance. I lean away, I get the foot here, I grab the bottom of the foot with the heel of the hand. and I push this foot out, I control the ankle just like so. And now from here we have two options. We can back step or forward step. Right now my right leg is already into the pocket of the hip. That's where I want it to be. So I'm going to keep this leg where it is. My left leg's going to be the one that does the moving. So from here where I got the ankles controlled, I put all my weight on my right leg, and I take a big back step with my left foot. Here. And then I come in and I get inside the knees. Okay, when it comes time to get inside the knees, take the knees up. Here, he's going to keep his knees tight to his chest. So I back step on here. I can't just come in like so. He's going to frame and recover his legs. So from this position, my left hand, the outside hand, makes a knife hand, so it's nice and thin. And I come in with the fingertips right here into the pocket of the hip, but on this side. You can't really see it, but you'll see it coming through. If we have Ant, stretch his legs out a little bit. My hand comes in right here, and it makes room for my knee to start coming in. And then we control the knee in the pocket of this hip over here by me, and my elbow controls the pocket of the hip closer to you. Okay. So back in Ashi. So again, head forward, keep your balance. Strip the grip, control the ankles. Now we take a big back step. Right here. Now again, his knees are tight. I make my knife hand. Pocket of the hip, and everything drives across and leads the way, so my elbow shuts out his knee. Now from here, rather than shooting my arm all the way across, where now his knee can come in my armpit, right here, and come back through, I don't want that. I don't want his knee to come between my arm and my leg. So as my arm goes across, my leg follows. So there's no space between my arm and my leg for his knees to come back in. He comes back in, it's shut out, and now I have top position. We can also forward step, and I use this when they extend their legs to stop the back step. Come here, and we're here. Now I go to back step, and he extends the leg as I back step, and I keep getting caught in the legs. And I can't get my leg back. Sorry, I'm stepping on my skin. I can't get my legs back and around. When this kind of thing happens, I like to forward step. So from here, I'm going to take little baby steps forward with my left leg now. 2, 3, until I get to the other side of his head. Now we drop and we're in our same position. Right hand into the pocket of the hip, knee follows, and we're back in our same position. Understand that for Ant to get to an Ashigurami, in order for Ant to get to an Ashigurami, he needs one of my feet on each side of his body. Right here. He needs this. Go ahead, Ashi. Boom. See that? Go back. Now, I'm just going to do one thing. Ant, can you put me in Ashigurami, please? Right, you see, he needed to get me so that both my feet were one on each side of the body again. So our Ashigurami escapes are predicated on this notion of getting both of my feet to one side of his body using either a back step or a forward step. Ashigurami. All right. So this leg's in the pocket of the hip, and sometimes he's controlling it, so I'm not really going to think about moving this leg. So I'm going to strip this, and it's about getting my left leg to this side of his body. I can do that by stepping backward, or I can do that by stepping forward. Okay? But that's generally what we're doing, is I'm taking both of my feet to the same side of Ant's body so that there's no more Ashigurami. Now we have one more entanglement to go through. Do you guys remember in the open guard, I said that anytime you have Ashigurami, there's also another form of guard you have. What was it? It's the X guard, right? So now we need to learn to deal with the X guard. Once again, I'm gonna, it's similar in that I want to get both of my feet to one side of the body, and I can deal with the X guard either by interfering with his legs that control me, or by interfering with his arm that controls me. And I'll show both. So Ant goes into Ashigarami. From Ashigarami, Ant decides to make a transition into the X guard. Perfect. Now again, I can either hand it over, please. Scoop, and yes, perfect. Now, from here, let's center up with the camera here. Perfect. Okay, now this is a good X guard here. One of my favorite ways to deal with X guard is to take this lower leg, the one that's behind my knee, and just take that hook out. Right now, if I try to backstep with my left leg, this hook stops me. This foot stops me from going forward. If Ant were to take either one of his legs, I would take one of them out. Doesn't matter which. Now, that's the leg that stopped me from going back. If that leg isn't there, I go this way and I'm out. If he takes the other one out, that's the leg that stopped me from going forward. Now there's nothing to stop me from going forward and hitting a forward step, just like we did from Ashigarami. So, if I can only deal with one of the legs, I find it easier to deal with this leg because this one's mostly in front of me. This leg is mostly behind me. The only part that's in front of me is this little thing. That's not much of a handle to get. So I like to put my hand here. It's a good strong handle, good control. Now you can do this either with hands on the floor as you're learning. Rotate just a tinge, yeah. So here I'll put my right hand on the floor, or both hands on the floor initially. Now my left hand will come to the hook. I'm going to push his hook down and step my leg up and back step. And I can come in past the guard here. This is how I first learned the technique, is by using my hands on the floor for extra stability. Hands to the ankle. I push the ankle down as I step back. Then as I got better balance, I started doing it without my hands on the floor. Just like so. So here he's got the X-guard hook in. My hand goes to the ankle, and I'm going to put all my weight into my left hand to take his hook out. Now with his hook out, now I can back step with my left leg. And now it's time to take that knife hand, come inside to the pocket of the hip. My left elbow makes way for my left knee. And we're right back into our same finishing position, past the guard. If he frames you, don't worry, just get inside the frames, either going this way or tackling the hips. Again, a lot of common themes here. Another option, let me show one more on that variation. Another option we have, let's say from here I try to push this leg down and he's being strong with his leg. Okay, he's really hooking in. I can't move his leg down. When I see this kind of thing happen where I can't move his leg, I use my left hand to help just immobilize his leg, and then I'll quickly step my left leg back and up. Make a good strong hook in. Okay? So I put all my weight off my left foot, and I put it all down into my left hand. So watch my left foot come up, my left hand go down. Okay, that's how I strip the hook. If he has a good strong hook, right here, and I can't just push it down, that will push it down. I put all my weight, I take all my weight off my foot, put it into my hand, and I back step with my foot. Now again, I back step, knife hand, pocket of the hip, and we come through. I'm going to show you guys one more way to get out of the X guard. I don't like this one as much because it doesn't put me in a passing position, but it's a good way to reset. And goes Ashigarami, transitions to the X guard. Perfect. Now, again, like I said, I could either interfere with his ability to control me using the leg, or I could interfere with the hand that controls, or interfere with the leg here, or I could interfere with this hand here. My right hand will go here right to the knuckles. He's got this grip above my knee. I'm going to use my fingers, my thumb here to grab on each side of the knuckle. I'm going to peel that hand off my knee. Now with the hand off my knee, there's nothing holding me in place, so I can turn this way. And I'm going to lean forward and kick my right leg free. And now I can reface Ant, and I can go to re-engage him. All right, one more time. X guard, Ashigurami to X. Now right here, from X guard, Ant wants to keep his hand above my knee. I say this a ton when I teach X guard. This is a small detail that gets forgotten a lot, so let's make sure we spend time on this. Hand above the knee. If his hand is above my knee and I go to kick out, my knee's stuck. If Ant's hand is below my knee is here, and his hand is below my knee, I'm gonna go to kick out, he's gonna hold my leg, and he can't hold it. That's why it's so incredibly important that you control above the knee. But if I can take that hand away, I can kick free. So if I'm here and I can't deal with the hook, I can go here. Hand off, turn, and kick your knee free. And now I can re-engage. All right, that was a lot of information. I think we were here for a while. But this is a big topic, an incredibly important topic that I wanted to make sure I get all the information to you. Honestly, I thought about having 2 weeks in our curriculum for breaking opponents' connections, but I had other important topics that if I added 2 weeks to breaking opponents' connections, there was another topic in the future we would have had to completely ignore entirely, and I didn't want to do that. So I'm giving you guys 1 week of breaking connections. It's just a lot of content. So we're not going to be able to get to all of these in class. Okay, so if you come to classes this week, you're not going to see all of these. So it's important that you watch this video, study these, and then you know how to deal with each of these very common entanglements you find yourself in. Let's recap them really quick. We had upper body entanglements and lower body entanglements. And in the lower body entanglements, we had many different variations where my leg was on the inside, his feet were on the inside, etc. So let's recap these one last time. Firstly, we had the 3 kinds of upper body entanglements. Think for a second, what were they? You remember what they were, Em? Spider. Spider guard was the first one. Excellent. The second one was a kind of a variation on that. You remember?
Spider lasso.
Spider lasso. Nice job, Ant. What was the third one?
Collar sleeve.
Good. Collar sleeve guard or collar cuff bicep. They're the same thing. So those 3 upper body entanglements are very common. Spider guard, spider lasso, collar cuff bicep. In spider guard, we move ourselves back in a way and pop the feet off, either popping them down off the biceps or popping them up. In a lasso, one of the big things was unwinding the lasso. I can either unwind my arm by hand pummeling to the outside, or I could unwind his leg with that movement where I flare my elbow, like I move to the side, I flare my elbow and I force his foot to point to the ceiling. And then we looked at collar cuff bicep, where he had control of my head, my arms were splayed apart, and I had to fight his legs with the strength of my legs. I could either do that while remaining standing, or I could drop to a knee drop position. Then we moved on to our lower body entanglements. We first looked at a couple entanglements where I'm able to step to the inside. If I step to the inside straight hamstring, there's a daily Hiva guard. We saw from the daily Hiva, they can either control the ankle or the pant cuff, and it's important to you to be good at both. If they control the ankle, that's not too difficult. If they control the pant cuff, it's a little worse. Either way, whichever grip they use on your leg, one important theme was we never let them control our head. Always keep your head free. Pop that head up, pop that grip off, don't let that cross collar grip sit. Pop it off. Then from daily Hiva, if they grab the pant cuff, then we had to pass to the side of the pant cuff. If I try to pass to the other side, I can't free my pant cuff from his grip and it's gonna be hard. So if they grab the pant cuff from daily Hiva, pass to the side of the pant cuff. Then we looked at reverse daily Hiva, which had a commonality to daily Hiva, which was just I take my hand a little below the knee on the shin and I push that hook out. And I did that on both the daily Hiva side and the reverse daily Hiva side. Then we looked at situations where I didn't have any inside position. So there was no daily Hiva or reverse daily Hiva, there was Ashigurami and X guard. And we saw some commonalities there as well. From Ashigurami, I want to get the foot off my hip. I want to lean forward so I don't get swept and take the foot off the hip. And then it's a matter of back stepping or forward stepping so that both of my feet go to the same side of my opponent's body. And then finally we looked at X guard. If he goes to X guard, then I can either interfere with his hook that's behind my knee, or I can interfere with his hand that's controlling my other knee. Okay? Either hand, take the hook out and back step, or take the hand off your knee and kick your leg out and free and just turn and face him and re-engage. Alright, so again, those connections: spider guard, spider lasso, collar cuff bicep, those were upper body. Lower body, we had daily Diva, either with an ankle grip or with a pant cuff grip. Daily Diva. We had reverse daily Diva, then we had Ashigarami, and then we had X guard. So 7 different kind of guards, 3 upper body, 4 lower body. Now that you guys are all familiar with the most common forms of ways you're going to get tied up and tangled up in your opponent's guard, now it's time for you to study how to deal with those connections so that you are going to become a strong guard passer. You're going to be able to break your opponent's dangerous connections. You're going to be able to negate your opponent's guard first so you can maintain a strong sense of stance and balance. When you have that strong sense of stance and balance, now you can move forward and go into positions of advantage, near the pocket, getting tight to the pocket of the hip, and then ultimately complete the pass by transitioning from controlling the hips to controlling the head. And that's our negation, advantage, completion, guard passing model. First, we negate our opponent's dangerous guard by breaking their dangerous connections. Negation. Then, starting next week, we're going to learn how to start moving into positions of advantage, where I start getting tight to and controlling my opponent's hips. And I do that in order to shut their legs out and get their feet and their knees out of the equation. I want to take my opponent's strongest limbs and make them useless. And I do that by getting tight to the pocket of the hip, by moving to our position of advantage to give us advantage here. Then once we're in tight controlling the hips, then it's time to complete the guard pass by progressing up from the hips and getting tight to the head and shoulders. And again, that's our negation, advantage, completion model, and it all starts with negation. It all starts with your ability to break your opponent's dangerous connections and negate their guard. See you next week for the next lessons.